Hello everyone. Have you ever felt that anger and dissatisfaction are like smoldering flames, burning your soul? The Buddha taught that these negative emotions not only destroy us but also affect those around us. In his teachings, we find valuable principles to overcome anger, dissolve dissatisfaction, and achieve true peace. Today, let's explore these 5 principles together. Principle 1. Recognize anger in the mind. The Buddha once said, "A person who cannot control their anger is like someone holding hot coals to throw at others, but is burned themselves." Anger starts from within. Therefore, the first step is to recognize it. When you feel anger rising, ask yourself, why am I angry? Acknowledge this emotion without trying to push it away. Recognizing it is the way to begin gaining control. Principle 2. Practice compassion. The Buddha taught that compassion is like cool water that can extinguish any fire of anger. When facing dissatisfaction or rage, remind yourself, they are suffering too. Look deeply into the nature of the person who has hurt you. They may not know what they are causing, or they themselves may be carrying burdens in their hearts. By expanding your compassion, you not only help them but also free yourself. Principle 3. Learn to let go. We often feel anger and dissatisfaction because we cling to expectations. When things don't go as we wish, we feel injustice. The Buddha taught that all things are impermanent. Letting go does not mean giving up, it means accepting reality. Remember that when you let go, your mind becomes lighter. Principle 4. Use breath to calm the soul. Breath is the bridge between the body and the mind. The Buddha emphasized the role of breath in controlling emotions. When you feel anger, pause and focus on your breath. Inhale, recognizing that you are angry. Exhale, reminding yourself to relax. Spending a few minutes with your breath can help you become calmer and clearer. Principle 5. Find peace in the present moment. Anger often pulls us into the past, while dissatisfaction makes us anxious about the future. The Buddha taught that, there is no path to happiness, happiness is the present moment. Focus on what is happening right now. Look around, and you might notice the little things you often overlook. When you fully live in the present, anger and dissatisfaction will naturally fade away. These principles are not quick fixes, they are a journey you need to persistently practice every day. Remember, your mind is like a garden, and you can choose to sow the seeds of peace instead of anger. Thank you for watching this video. If you find today's sharing helpful, please leave a comment, like, and subscribe to our channel so we can spread beautiful values together. Principle 1. Recognizing anger in the mind, the core to liberating negative emotions. According to the teachings of the Buddha, anger is one of the 3 poisons, greed, anger, ignorance, that pollute the mind and lead to suffering. Recognizing anger is not only the first step to transforming it but also the foundation for developing wisdom and compassion. Within the framework of the Buddha's teachings, recognizing anger requires the practice of mindfulness and an understanding of its nature. What is anger? Anger is a strong psychological response that often occurs when we feel offended, disappointed, or hurt. The Buddha compared anger to a fire. If left unchecked, it will burn everything, from the soul to the relationships around us. However, he also taught that anger is not something imposed from the outside, it arises from within, from ignorance, unmet expectations, or attachment to the self, clinging to the ego. Recognizing anger, the key to mastering emotions. To recognize anger, the first step is to be aware and observe your mind as soon as this negative emotion arises. The Buddha once said, "One who cannot control their anger is like a person holding hot coals to throw at others, but is burned themselves." This shows that recognizing anger not only helps protect oneself but also prevents actions that could harm others. How to recognize anger? Stop and observe. When you feel anger beginning to rise, stop all actions and focus on the sensations in your body. Is your heart beating faster? Is your breathing becoming rapid? These signals are clear signs of anger. Ask yourself, Why am I angry? Where is this coming from? Is it because my expectations are unmet? The Buddha encourages us to ask questions to understand the root cause of our anger. By doing this, you not only acknowledge the emotion but also begin the process of self-regulation. Observe emotions neutrally. The Buddha teaches that we should view anger like a cloud, it comes and goes, and it is not the true nature of the mind. Observe it without judgment, without trying to push it away or hold on to it. This is a fundamental mindfulness practice that helps you stand outside the emotional storm. The role of mindfulness in recognizing anger. Mindfulness is the primary method for recognizing and controlling anger. When you live in the present, you can notice the smallest changes in your mind. For example, an unpleasant remark might make you angry, but instead of reacting immediately, mindfulness helps you realize, this is anger arising in my mind. Practicing mindfulness not only helps you recognize emotions but also enhances your ability to control them, allowing you to choose appropriate responses instead of acting unconsciously. Lessons from the Scriptures. In the Dhammapada, the Buddha teaches, one who can control their anger is like a skilled charioteer, those who cannot control their anger are merely clumsy in grasping the reins. This emphasizes the importance of mastering anger through recognition and transformation. No one is born with perfect emotional control, but through practice, we can move closer to a state of peace. The results of recognizing anger. Reduced conflict. When you recognize anger, you no longer react impulsively, helping to avoid arguments and misunderstandings. Peaceful mind. Acknowledging emotions instead of denying them helps you feel lighter. Increased compassion. When you recognize anger, you have the opportunity to transform it into empathy, understanding the suffering of others and yourself. Recognizing anger is the first and most important step in transforming this negative emotion. It not only helps you master yourself but also brings peace to your soul. Practice daily by observing your mind, acknowledging your emotions, and learning to let go. This is the path to the inner freedom that the Buddha taught. This practice is not easy, but with perseverance, you will notice that anger gradually loses its power, making way for understanding and compassion. Principle 2, Practicing Compassion, the path to transforming anger and dissatisfaction. Compassion is one of the key pillars of Buddhist teachings. The Buddha likened compassion to a cool stream that can extinguish the flames of anger. He emphasized that only when compassion is practiced sincerely can we overcome negative emotions and attain peace of mind. What is compassion? According to Buddhist teachings, compassion, metta and karuna, is not just love, it also includes a deep empathy for the suffering of others and a desire to alleviate that suffering. The Buddha did not view compassion as a fleeting emotion or subjective feeling, but as a mental state that needs to be developed and practiced daily. Compassion is not only for loved ones or friends but also for all sentient beings, including those who may annoy or hurt us. This aspect makes compassion a challenging yet profoundly meaningful practice. Why is practicing compassion important? Extinguishing the flames of anger. When anger flares up, it darkens our minds and makes them difficult to control. Compassion, like a cool stream, soothes our irritation, allowing us to approach problems with calmness and clarity. Building connection. Compassion not only helps us resolve conflicts but also fosters deep connections with others. When you practice compassion, those around you will feel your sincerity and goodwill, leading to more harmonious relationships. Liberating yourself. The Buddha taught that holding on to anger ultimately causes the most suffering for ourselves. By cultivating compassion, we release the burdens in our hearts, freeing ourselves from feelings of dissatisfaction and negativity. How to practice compassion. Understanding others' suffering. The Buddha taught, all actions of beings arise from some place of suffering. Ask yourself, why do others behave this way? They may be enduring pressures and pains that you are unaware of. When you shift your perspective and understand that their negative actions are not entirely due to malice, compassion will naturally arise. Practicing loving-kindness meditation, metta bhavana. Loving-kindness meditation is an effective method to develop compassion. In this practice, you start by sending love and goodwill to yourself, then extend it to loved ones, friends, strangers, and finally to those with whom you have conflicts. Sit quietly, close your eyes, and repeat, "May I be at peace. May they be happy. May all beings be free from suffering." Feel the love radiating from your heart and send it out like gentle waves. Reminding yourself. Whenever you feel dissatisfaction or anger, remind yourself, they are also suffering. This is not to excuse others' wrongdoings but to help you maintain calmness and mindfulness in difficult situations. Exhibiting compassion through action. Compassion is not only a mental state but also needs to be expressed through actions. Help others unconditionally, listen to them when they need it, or simply maintain a kind demeanor and avoid causing harm, whether through words or thoughts. Compassion and wisdom. In Buddhism, compassion cannot be separated from wisdom, prajna. The Buddha taught that compassion without wisdom can lead to weakness or blindness. When practicing compassion, it is essential to base it on a correct understanding of the causes and nature of suffering, thus finding effective ways to help others. Illustrative stories. The Buddha and the thief Angulimala. When facing Angulimala, a notorious thief, the Buddha did not use violence to punish him. Instead, he approached him with compassion, helping him realize his mistakes and ultimately becoming a devoted disciple. This story illustrates that compassion has the power to transform anger and guilt. The mother and the wayward child. The Buddha once told the story of a mother mistreated by her son. Rather than reacting with anger or vengeance, she chose to treat her son with compassion, understanding that his disrespect stemmed from his own inner suffering. Practicing compassion is a journey that requires patience and awareness. It not only benefits others but also helps you live a more meaningful and fulfilling life. As the Buddha taught, only compassion can dissolve anger. This is an eternal truth. Start with small acts in your daily life, a smile, a kind word, or an act of help towards others. Gradually, you will find that compassion is not merely a practice but also the light illuminating your own spiritual path. Principle 3, Letting Go, Transforming Anger Through the Understanding of Impermanence. In life, anger and dissatisfaction often arise when we cling too tightly to expectations, possessions, or the belief that things should unfold according to our desires. The Buddha taught, all things are impermanent. This teaching is not just a philosophy but a practical method to free the mind from the bondage of anger. Why is anger associated with attachment? Anger often arises when reality does not match the expectations we have created in our minds. For example, when someone does not behave as we wish, we feel hurt or see it as unfair. When we do not achieve what we want, we become angry with ourselves or the circumstances. When something valuable is lost, we feel a sense of emptiness, regret, and blame. In all these cases, the root of anger lies in attachment to expectations, to the self, and the illusion that things are permanent. What did the Buddha teach about letting go? The Buddha pointed out that everything in life is impermanent, anicca, from emotions and material possessions to relationships and circumstances. When we understand that everything changes and nothing lasts forever, we gradually reduce our attachment to transient things. Letting go does not mean giving up effort or being indifferent to life. Instead, it is about accepting the natural state of all things, living in the present without letting the mind be disturbed by unrealistic expectations. How to practice letting go to transform anger. Recognize attachment. The first step in letting go is to recognize what you are attached to. When anger arises, ask yourself, what am I expecting from others? What am I clinging to in order to feel safe or happy? This recognition helps you see that anger does not come from outside but from how you react to reality. Practice mindfulness. Mindfulness helps you observe emotions without letting them control you. When anger appears, stop and take deep breaths. Instead of reacting immediately, focus on your breath and feel the emotions happening in your mind. Acknowledge, this is anger. Observe it without judgment, this emotion is rising and falling, like a cloud passing through the sky. Deeply understand impermanence. Reflect on the impermanent nature of all things. Anger is also an impermanent emotion, it comes and goes. Similarly, all situations that cause anger do not last forever. You can practice this through meditation on impermanence. Imagine the things you are attached to, a person, an object, or a situation, and visualize them gradually fading away. This helps you realize that everything has a beginning and an end, and clinging only brings suffering. Practice forgiveness. Letting go is also about the ability to forgive. The Buddha taught that, hatred cannot be resolved by hatred, only love can resolve it. Forgiving does not mean agreeing with wrongful actions but freeing yourself from feelings of anger and resentment. Try writing down things you cannot forgive and imagine releasing them, like letting a leaf float down a stream. Live in the present. Often, anger and dissatisfaction arise because we focus too much on what has happened in the past or what might happen in the future. The Buddha advised, do not dwell in the past, do not dream of the future, concentrate the mind on the present moment. Focus on what you can do right now to improve the situation, rather than dwelling on regrets or blame. Benefits of letting go. Freeing the mind. Letting go helps you no longer be haunted by negative emotions. When you let go of anger, your mind becomes lighter, making it easier to focus on what truly matters. Enhancing mental health. Many scientific studies have shown that those who know how to let go experience less stress and depression. This aligns perfectly with the Buddha's teaching that attachment only brings pain. Building better relationships. When you let go of expectations and anger towards others, you will find it easier to forgive, empathize, and build more harmonious relationships. Illustrative story from Buddhist teachings. Once, the Buddha and his disciples were crossing a river. He saw a man who was angry because the raft he had built had drifted away. The Buddha said to him, "The raft has fulfilled its purpose of getting you across the river. Why do you still need it? Let it go and continue on your path." This story reminds us that anger is like a raft that has already crossed the river. We do not need to cling to it as it is no longer useful. Letting go is not easy, but it is a necessary practice to transform anger and dissatisfaction. As the Buddha taught, letting go is the path to freedom. When you let go, not only does anger dissipate, but your soul also opens up, ready to embrace true joy and peace. Start with small steps, and gradually, you will feel the lightness in every breath. Principle 4, using breath to soothe the soul and alleviate anger. In Buddhist teachings, breath is not only a biological factor for sustaining life but also a powerful tool that helps us manage emotions, especially anger. When the mind is disturbed by anger, breath serves as a means to return to a state of peace. Breath and anger in Buddhist teachings. The Buddha taught that when anger arises, the mind often becomes tense, unstable, and the breath quickens, becoming irregular. To calm this emotion, you need to return to the breath, regulating it to restore balance between body and mind. Breath not only helps you control anger but also enables you to recognize the impermanent nature of this emotion. How to use breath to overcome anger. Recognize breath in anger. When feelings of anger arise, stop immediately and return to your breath. Observe each inhale and exhale without denying or avoiding the emotion. This helps create distance between you and the anger, preventing this negative emotion from dominating your actions. Practice mindful breathing. Mindful breathing is a method that helps you focus on the present moment, avoiding impulsive reactions. When practicing, find a quiet space, take a deep breath in, and exhale slowly. This practice calms you, allows you to think clearly, and helps control emotions in tense situations. Observe emotions in breath. As you breathe, ask yourself, what is making me angry, and, am I clinging to certain expectations? This practice not only helps soothe emotions immediately but also allows you to identify deeper causes for long-term resolution. Breath as a daily practice. To master breath during moments of anger, you need to practice regularly each day. In the morning, spend a few minutes focusing on your breath. In stressful situations, pause and take deep breaths to avoid negative reactions. In the evening, deep breathing helps release tension and prepares you for a restful sleep. Illustrative story from the time of the Buddha. Once, a man came to the Buddha and angrily scolded him. The Buddha did not react, he simply sat silently and breathed deeply. After the man stopped, the Buddha asked, "If someone gives you a gift that you do not accept, to whom does that gift belong?" The man replied, "To the giver." The Buddha smiled and said, "Your anger is the same. If I do not accept it, it still belongs to you." Anger is a powerful emotion, but with the help of breath, we can soothe the soul and look deeply into the nature of this emotion. Breath is a powerful tool that helps us achieve inner peace, just as the Buddha taught. Start practicing mindful breathing today to free yourself from negative emotions and live a serene life. Principle 5, Finding Peace in the Present. In our busy lives, we often get caught up in worries about the past or the future. Anger tends to pull us back to painful memories, while dissatisfaction makes us anxious about things that have yet to happen. However, the Buddha taught that happiness is not something that will come in the future, it is found in the present. There is no path leading to happiness, the present moment is happiness. This profound teaching helps us realize that when we fully live in each moment, we will find peace and reduce the influence of anger and dissatisfaction. Impermanence and the importance of the present. One of the fundamental lessons in Buddhist teachings is impermanence. Everything changes, and nothing lasts forever. The past is gone and cannot be changed, while the future is uncertain and yet to come. When we cling to the past or worry about the future, we create unnecessary suffering for ourselves. Anger often arises from what has already happened, and dissatisfaction stems from what has not yet occurred. The Buddha advises us to focus on the present, the only place we can control and live fully. When you understand that everything changes, you will realize that only the present moment can bring true peace. Living in the present to reduce anger. Anger is an emotion that easily arises when we cannot forgive the past or are still affected by past wounds. When you think about what has happened, you cannot change it, yet you create negative emotions in the present. The Buddha taught that to minimize anger, we need to let go of the past and live fully in the present moment. When you are entirely present, you are no longer caught up in judgments or regrets, and the feeling of anger naturally diminishes. Finding peace in small moments. To live fully in the present, we should start from the small moments of our daily lives. Buddhism teaches that instead of seeking happiness in grand events, we can find peace in simple, ordinary things. A gentle breeze, the light of dawn, or even a smile from a loved one, these can all bring us a sense of tranquility. When you pay attention to and appreciate these small things, you will realize that happiness is not a destination but a state that can be found in every moment. Mindfulness and living fully in the present. Mindfulness is one of the most powerful methods for living fully in the present. It is a practice that helps us focus entirely on what is happening without judgment or worry. When you practice mindfulness, you will realize that emotions like anger or dissatisfaction are merely temporary phenomena in your mind, and they will fade away if you do not give them too much attention. Mindfulness not only helps you soothe your emotions but also allows you to appreciate each moment of life, creating a peaceful space within. Letting go of expectations and accepting reality. An important factor in living fully in the present is letting go of expectations. When we place too much expectation on the future or want things to go our way, we are prone to disappointment and dissatisfaction. The Buddha taught that expectations are the source of suffering because we cannot control everything. Letting go of expectations does not mean abandoning goals, rather, it means accepting and enjoying what is present in this moment. When you are no longer torn by desires for the future, you will find it easier to discover peace in the present. Serenity comes from living in the present. The Buddha pointed out that true happiness is not something that will come in the future but is the serenity available in the present. When you truly live in the present moment, you will feel peace within yourself. No longer will there be worries about the future or pain from the past, only silence and complete happiness remain. The present moments are the wonderful gifts life offers, and when you learn to appreciate them, you will realize you already have everything you need to live happily. Happiness and peace are not distant dreams, they exist in the present moment. When we learn to let go of the past and not worry about the future, we can easily find tranquility in our souls. The Buddha indicated that when you live fully in the present, anger and dissatisfaction will naturally fade away. Focus on the small things and cherish each moment because it is in the present that you find happiness. Conclusion. The principles we explored together in today's video are not quick fixes, but rather small yet profoundly important steps on the journey toward finding peace and happiness in life. We can all gradually feel this transformation, day by day, if we are persistent and determined to practice. Remember that your mind is like a garden, and you are the one who decides which seeds to plant. You can choose to sow seeds of peace, love, and compassion, instead of seeds of anger or anxiety. This journey is not always easy. There will be times when you feel tired or discouraged, but do not forget that each day offers you a chance to renew yourself. Every breath, every moment in the day is an opportunity for you to cultivate a more peaceful soul. It is important to be patient and compassionate with yourself. As you change internally, the world around you will gradually change as well. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Each time you watch, you are not only learning but also inspiring those around you. That is truly valuable, and I am very grateful that we can walk this path together. If you found today's insights helpful, please leave a comment, like, and subscribe to the channel so we can spread these positive values together. Together, we will make this world lighter, more peaceful, and filled with love. Wishing you a peaceful day, full of tranquility and happiness. Always remember that even the smallest steps bring you closer to freedom in your soul. I look forward to seeing you in the next video, where we will continue our journey in search of peace and spiritual strength through the precious teachings of the Buddha. Thank you so much.